information in an article. And we're also recording as part of our what we standard practice for Rufus Wig and Iowa Food System Coalition. So just wanted to point that out, just to let everybody know. And Chris Schwartz, our Iowa Food System Coalition Director, will be working with IPR on anything that they might want to use. So welcome, welcome IPR, and welcome everybody. We're going to get started with our speakers this morning. So we have Brianna with Silt, and then we have Claire with Iowa Valley RC&D. And our focus this morning is land access and land access projects. So I'm going to get it to, we're going to start with Iowa Valley RC&D because I know Claire has some slides in here. But it is not letting me advance. All right. Hold on 1 second as I'm going to stop sharing for a minute, get it to the right slides, and hopefully it lets me advance here.
Gail, is this radio bothering you?
Oh, crap.
I jumped on when I did because looks like I'm up.
You are. Let me. Okay, it is letting me advance now. Okay,
welcome
awesome.
to the
Great.
hot seat, Claire.
Yes. Yes.
I feel
And
it.
just also wanted to mention, if everybody else can stay muted, we're gonna let both speakers go first, and then we should have a little time for questions at the end of both of them speaking. So welcome, Claire, and I will let you introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me to speak today. I am Claire Zabel. I'm the program director at Iowa Valley RC&D. And I just want to tell you a little bit about myself before we start into the stuff about Iowa Valley. So I grew up on a farm, a dairy farm in southeast Minnesota, and I moved to Iowa about 13 years ago. And during that time that I've been here, I've worked with local vegetable farmers, CSA, organic practicing, usually not usually certified, but I spent a lot of time with farmers. And I also managed the Iowa City Farmers Market for several years. And then I ran the Iowa Farmers Market Manager meetups for a while here, last few years. And that's just connecting market managers across the state to talk about what's going right and what's going wrong in their worlds. I have a master's in agronomy from Iowa State because after working with all those farmers, I thought I want to be more active in the food system and making improvements there. And I saw that all of these farmers were very passionate and hardworking, and I just wanted to be part of it at a higher level. My dog is here too, so hopefully he doesn't make too much noise. I've been with Iowa Valley RC&D for about 4 years now. My first role was to create the Clean Start Food Safety Coaching Program, and that went for 2 years. And now we're doing it again, actually, with another round of grant funding. Then I pretty quickly took over the management of the farm that Iowa Valley runs, which is called Grow Johnson County. And now I am directing the team in charge of the farm and all of the other farmer education programs that we run as part of the Farmer Development Department. So if you could switch to the next slide, please. Iowa Valley RC&D, for anyone who doesn't know, is a nonprofit here based in Amana in Iowa City. Our office is in Amana, but the Grow Farm is in Iowa City. Our mission is to inspire transformative change and lead in the development of farmers and food value chains toward a more collaborative, equitable, and resilient food system across Iowa's communities. That's a tall order, so we're going to have our work cut out for us for a while. If you want to know more about Iowa Valley, you can visit our website, iowavalley.rcd.org. We have 2 main areas of focus. The first one is farmer development. That's my area that I'm running. And then the second area is value chain development. We won't talk about that today because that is a large topic as well. So I'll just focus on my department. The Farmer Development Initiative is responsible for providing education and technical support to beginning and experienced farmers in Iowa with the goal of increasing farm business viability and resilience. Another tall order. There's lots of work to do here in this area. This initiative supports 75 farmers per year in a lot of ways. We do on-farm demonstration at Grow. We also provide paid apprenticeships. A fellowship is coming up, land and equipment access, and of course, some workshops about various topics. So on the, oh, too soon. On the bottom here is a snapshot of some of our programs. So Grow Johnson County, 6-acre diversified vegetable farm, organic practicing, so naturally grown and not certified. But we take food safety very seriously and send out about 40,000 pounds of fresh local food to the food pantries and other food access organizations in Johnson County each year. That takes a lot of work. So we have a pretty small team. It's 3.5, 4 people, kind of averaging out across the year to work on that. We also have the Clean Start Food Safety Program running again. That'll be opening up in December. I believe we'll start the next round of applications for that. And that's one-on-one personalized education about food safety regulation, which is very complicated, and we try to make it as fun as possible. We also are starting up a Fresh Connect business coaching program, and that is open now, basically. You can find it on our website. And the idea with that is that we're looking for small to mid-scale farmers that are in the early part of their career, so 1 to 6 years of experience and aren't done with it yet, or would like to continue. And then with this program, we'll help them create a business plan or refine their enterprises and just think through what they want to do next and how it will work out on paper. And then the Farmer's Tool Shed is a new thing as well. We're starting new projects all the time, it seems, but it's because we're so passionate about trying to solve problems that we're seeing. So the Farmer's Tool Shed is an equipment sharing program that we're going to start at the Johnson County Historic Poor Farm at first to try to meet the needs of the farmers who are there, because not everyone can buy their own equipment for everything. So we want to have it be available for rent. And it's, a lot of it's very specialized things that would be quite an investment. So that is the idea there. And we're working with the farmers on site to develop those policies and set the prices and things right now. But it's the middle of the season, so I think that'll be a winter thing. It's hard to get people to spend time there. Okay, now you can switch the slide. So I've mentioned the Johnson County Historic Poor Farm, and I wanted to give some context for that because that is a very critical piece to anything that we are able to provide to farmers. This property was founded in 1855 as a place where the government could establish care and house low-income people with mental or physical disabilities. It was one way to do it, and that program went until 1988. There were some good and bad things about it, but the county retained ownership of that property and wanted to somehow build upon the positive aspects of it and make it something the community could come to again.
Fowler.
Calling Jamie Fowler.
The property is 160 acres in total. It includes a cemetery and a bunch of farmland, pollinator meadow. There's a 22-acre meadow on the property and a wetland that was installed a few years ago, as well as a woodland timber area and some historic buildings. Next slide. The land access program is one of the things that's going on at the property, and that's the area in orange there. Right now, we have 6 tenants who have access to various sized plots ranging from 3/4 acre to 2.5 acre. And they're on 3-year contracts at about $280 an acre cost initial. And then that add on some fees for irrigation, water access, and storage space as well. But it's fairly low cost. We also provide walk-in cooler space, wash pack sheds. There are 2 of them on site. They're made out of a carport style, so they're easy to put up. Water access, and then we also provide tillage and mowing and a few other services for things that people haven't been able to buy larger equipment. It would just take a long time. So we have the tractor out there and could do it faster for them, but they just pay a fee for that. And then the blue line pointing down is where we currently have hay production, and that is planned to be an expansion of land access. Yep. So looking more at that expansion, and from this map, you can see better the areas. So on the top middle is going to be the historic buildings, and then grow fields. Global Food Project gardens are also there. So that's small plots for immigrant and refugee farmers to grow food for their families. And then the prairie is just in the middle here with the light yellow. Then we have the timberland, and there's more hay ground on the east side by the highway. That's probably just going to stay in hay for a while. But the southwest corner is where we are looking to expand land access and make more resources available for farmers. So planned improvements, there's a commercial kitchen that's actually going to be in construction probably the end of this year. I think they're going to start. And then the plan is to have more greenhouses, more field plots, equipment storage, maybe a nice enclosed shop for doing oil changes in the winter. Wouldn't that be nice? Pasture is a hope there. That's near the tree land there because it's very slopey. And possibly some housing and event space. This is all kind of up to the Johnson County Board of Supervisors to figure out what exactly they want to approve because it's their land still, so they're all still very part of the process. And then their New Century Farm Fellowship is a program that we're starting to develop now, and it is part of a land capital market access grant. So our plan is to develop a 2-year training program for farmers to come who are serious about it and they want to actually get on the ground and try running their plot and see if it's really for them, and then have a safety net because we'll be paying them full time for the first year that they're working with us, and there'll be lessons along the way. And then the second year they would be placed with a farmer that does an enterprise that they're interested in learning more about, and we would pay for half of that time and the farmer would pay the other half. So it's going to be quite an extensive program, and we're hoping that it would be eventually sort of a hub of learning to come here once we have more buildings put up and more resources with the county's support. Thank you for having me here to speak today, and I just wanted to let you know we have social media that you can keep up with us on. We also have a Substack where we post about what we're doing, so keep checking in. There's a lot on the horizon for Iowa Valley.
Thank you, Claire. We really, really appreciate that. We are going to turn it over to Brianna, and we'll let you speak. Feel free to share slides if you'd like to share slides, but you definitely don't have to. And then we'll do some questions.
Hi, everybody. Let me get my slides pulled up here. And nope, I didn't want to do that. Well, now I can't find my controls. So, well, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
So my name is Brianna Horsey, and I'm the executive director of the Sustainable Iowa Land Trust. A little bit about me. I've been the director since February of last year. Previously, I was the Chamber and Tourism Director in Storm Lake, and I also worked as the urban conservationist for Western Iowa. I now live in Muscatine. Silt's office is in West Branch, but our staff is all over the state. So mostly we are a remote team. And we're currently in an expansion phase. We have just hired some new regional coordinators, and we're looking to expand to hire more regional coordinators in our Circle Our Cities regions. We know that we need that local connection in order to be successful. So I'm going to start with jumping right into what is Circle Our Cities, but first we need to talk about what Silt is. Our mission is to protect land for growing healthy table food in our communities, and with that land, providing access to farmers that otherwise would not have the opportunity. So our approach is permanent through easements or land acquisition, with a focus on growing healthy food that people can eat in a sustainable way. So with each acre protected, we know that we're providing affordable land for future generations. With our sustainability requirements, we know that it will clean the water and the air in the regions that we're in, provide fresh food to the communities, allow landowners to leave their legacy of sustainability and community where they live, and also create a strong economy. So we're thinking about, a regional food web approach and how we can reduce food miles and support our communities right here where we live versus importing food. So some of the challenges and why we're doing what we are doing is that farmland's being paved over. I know you guys see expansion all across the state. People are moving to Iowa, and Iowa is expanding. Cost of living is affordable here, but with that, much of our farmland is being, is turning into concrete. There's rising hunger. It's not always easy to see, but there's the access to healthy food in Iowa. We have a lot of food deserts. Consolidating industries, and as you all know, in the agriculture sector, is driving the price of farmland up and not making it accessible to food farmers. And then we're also dealing with the worldwide climate crisis and changing weather patterns and more extreme weather. But opportunities in Iowa, it's projected to be about 400 million acres will be changing hands. New farmers want more choices. They are starting to think outside of the box, and they need to know what's available to them. And then local markets are also growing exponentially. There is a demand for local food. So we're here to provide a solution for landowners. That's Mary Ellen right here. She's one of our founding and board members. She donated 40 acres to Silt back in 2015. That was our first Silt farm. We held a staff work day out on her farm this year to help her clean up some of her chestnut trees and other trees in the orchards. And at 80 plus years old, she outworked us all. Mary Ellen is a legend, and she knows everyone. So she's been very valuable to our organization. This is Carly and Ethan. They are farming on our farm up in Decorah. Silt currently owns only 4 farms outright. We have 16 farms protected. But Carly and Ethan with Sweet Season Farm, they grow and sell at the farmers market, but they're also supplying food to the Oneota Co-op. And if you guys haven't been to Decorah or visited Oneota Co-op, it's really an amazing business that they've created. I think there's 6,000 people in that town, and my numbers are probably off here, but like 4,500 of them are members of the co-op. So they're really setting the example for the rest of Iowa and the region, and how we can support local businesses and local producers. So a solution for our communities is to consider where food is being grown as we expand. We know that expansion is happening, and we simply want to work with cities, with developers, with big farmers to consider where we can place small pieces of land that are permanently protected, to know that we'll always have a place to grow food in our communities as we expand, so that we're not having to import so much food. I was currently importing, I think the most recent statistic is like 90% of our food, but we live right here on some of the most fertile soil in the world. So our Circle Our Cities campaign is our goal of circling 10 cities with 10 farms in 10 years. And we have just recently launched in Waterloo and Cedar Rapids. We're already working in Iowa City and in Des Moines area. There will be another slide here that shows the other cities. That this was the original vision. These were the original target cities for Circle Our Cities. And our goal is not to take land out of, out of production or out of expansion. It's really to incorporate this model into where we live. And we know that farmers need access to markets. And that's one thing that, is going to make a successful business or not. And so that's why we're focusing on areas that are close to our cities. So we've already started circling Des Moines, Iowa City, Fairfield, Dubuque, and now we're in Cedar Rapids and Waterloo this year. So we really started with an investment phase and hiring regional coordinators. We've launched into Cedar Rapids and Waterloo. We hope by next year to secure a regional coordinator in the Council Bluffs area. There's a lot of demand for land access. We have a long list of farmers that are seeking access to land and want to grow in a sustainable way, but land access is a barrier there. And it's really just so far from anywhere where we have a staff person. And as I mentioned, it's just so important for us to have that local connection, because it takes years to build trust. So to be self-sustaining, if fully funded at $3 million over the next 3 years, we plan to make an income off of our farm rent, which is pretty minimal for us. We rent land that we own to farmers at a really low cost. Basically, we take all of our expenses related to the farm. We add about an $80 maintenance or an $80 administration fee, and then we add a maintenance fee, which will go into a maintenance fund for that farm if the farmer needs to repair something. We divide that by 12 with no down payment, no interest added on, and leased directly to the farmer. And we're able to do this on land that we own because we don't have the expense of like a mortgage. So we're basically able to take that out of the equation, and it comes to about a 50% discount if they were to be leasing outright. And our ultimate goal is to surround ourselves with farms that are economically, socially, and environmentally stable. So that's why we're approaching this initiative from a community standpoint, because the community ultimately will benefit from having cleaner air and cleaner water, having food accessible, and creating opportunities for farmers that otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity. So, that means new and beginning farmers, BIPOC farmers. Our process considers, or our application process, we have a farmer committee that selects our farmers, and priority is given to those individuals that weren't born into farming and experience barriers otherwise. So there's my contact information, and I don't know if you want me to open it up for questions yet, but I hope that you have a clearer understanding of what Silt is and what our Circle Our Cities campaign's goals are. This is our group teamed up with Grow Johnson County from last year. They came and helped us repair the plastic on our high tunnel, and we went and helped them repair their plastic on their high tunnel. And it was a fun day.
Awesome, great. Thank you, Brianna, and thank you, Claire. I see there's activity in the chat. I'm not sure if there's questions in there or if it's just all of you introducing. All right. Great. All right, let's open it up for questions. And let's go ahead and see how it goes. If you guys unmute and ask your question for either Claire or Brianna.
Calm down, everybody. Not all the questions all at once.
So Brianna, this is Andrea with Healthy Harvest,
Hey,
and I know
Andrea.
you mentioned that that Silt was also like in a growing phase, and you're taking on new staff. Where do you have people located right now throughout the state? Is that
We
on?
have,
Go ahead.
yeah, we have full-time regional coordinators currently in Dubuque, Des Moines, Waterloo, and Cedar Rapids. We have a part-time consultant working between like Iowa City and Fairfield. And then we have our farm operations team, which I see Jada's on here, Jada Fife. She's in Southwest Iowa, Jada, or would that be considered South Central? And our farms coordinator, she's in Des Moines as well. And then I'm over in Muscatine, and most of our operations team is based around West Branch, Iowa City, where our office is. So that's really why our next strategic move will be to get a regional coordinator over in Council Bluffs, because that whole region is, kind of a desert, and we're having to travel quite a bit to go to meet with those landowners currently. We have 11 staff members now. So we hired 5 people just in the last year.
Brianna, it might be interesting to know a little bit about how you vet farms to take in, because you don't just take in anything. There's a real process. So that might be interesting for people to know.
Sure. And hi, Bob.
Hi,
Looking
Brianna.
forward to being down in Fairfield, next week with you
Next
guys?
week is the big day on Wednesday. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So we're accredited by the Land Trust Alliance, and most land trusts are, once they have achieved the required criteria to achieve that status. So with our accreditation, there are stringent standards that we have to adhere to. So we are monitoring there's 3 ways Silt protects land. One is through an easement, which the landowner would maintain all the rights to their property. They can sell it, they're going to farm it or lease it. But with that easement, it will be attached to the deed of the property, and we will monitor it in perpetuity. And so we wouldn't want to take out an easement on a property that we can't enforce as a place where food should be grown. So really, it all comes back to that question. Is this a place where we can enforce agriculture for table food? So we're seeking land that has good soil quality. We do have some land that doesn't have a homestead on site, but ideally we like to protect land with a homestead on site, just knowing that table food farming for producers, it often becomes a multi-generational operation, or it takes a good amount of work, and living on site just will set it up for success. So we're looking at how it's zoned. We take into consideration the proximity to market. We do have farms that don't have good proximity to market, and those farmers are struggling. It's really hard right now, and we don't have that regional support. So yeah, there's a lot of factors that are considered. However, Silt will take land donations of land that's not farmable, but only with the understanding that we would sell that land or property in order to protect a site that would be ideal for long-term protection. So we have the easement. That's one way we protect property. The other way is by taking land donations or reserve life estates. And so with easements, like I said, the landowner leases directly to a tenant or they farm it. With land donations or reserve life estates, Silt would eventually take ownership of those, and then we would lease directly to farmers. So thank you for asking that, Bob. So Jada's calling where she lives, Central Southwest, Afton, Iowa. Thanks for joining us today, Jada.
I have a quick question for Claire. Could you tell me a little bit more about the commercial kitchen and what that will involve?
Yes, so the commercial kitchen is a project that we're doing with the county, of course, and it's going to be next to one of the historic barns. So it'll be, and it's the barn that's going to be more of an event space. So the idea is that it would serve as a kitchen space for events potentially, but also the land access growers on site who want to do value-added products. It's going to have, I think, 2 or 3 different spaces for cooking and then some prep area. It's going to have freezer and cooler and dry storage. So it should have everything that one needs to really set up for a commercial value-added product space. Can I ask a question? Why did you all want to hear about land access programs today?
This is Chris. I'll say it in every conversation that I have about the setting the table for all Iowans, land access always bubbles up to the top of the issues and of the challenges that we're facing. And so, but I think that it's exciting that both of you provide kind of interesting opportunities for how to tackle this.
I have something really exciting to share that I didn't share before. Last week, Silt was named an eligible entity with NRCS to work with landowners on ASAP ale easements. Those are agriculture land easements where the landowner, they have to work with a land trust, but the landowner, if they choose to apply through this program, they will be eligible for a payment that will cover half the cost of the residual value. So basically we're looking at appraisal before an easement and appraisal after the easement. For a landowner to take out an easement on their property, they're reducing the value of their land by 40 to 50%. But if they do this, they can, and if their application is selected, they can receive a cash payout upon the conclusion of the easement process of half of that loss of value in their land. So if they're reducing the value of their land by $400,000, they can receive a $200,000 payment by working with us and NRCS. So we've had things may appear to be slow moving at Silt since our transition last year to a new director, but we have a long list of people that have been waiting for us to be named an eligible entity so that they can apply through this program. So we are how big this is, an example is that the Land Trust Alliance, who accredits all of the land trusts in America, they have hired an entire department of people to help land trusts navigate this opportunity. And through the Inflation Reduction Act, it looks like there's going to be continued funding for a long time for this. So it's really an exciting time. And we're projecting a big expansion of landowners engaging in this opportunity to protect land that maybe they were land rich but money poor. You know, they don't have, or they have an heir that they don't want to disinherit, you know, by 50%, or they have a little bit of land but they need the capital to get their business going to be successful. So there's just so many opportunities with it, and we're really excited. And Lori from Silt is here. She put the name of this program in the chat. It's ASEP Ale. And hi, Lori. Thanks for coming on. Lori is our new regional coordinator in Waterloo.
That's really exciting.
All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions for our speakers, I'd like to thank them very much for coming today and sharing this information. Yeah, it is a topic that we all are, hearing about a lot in our regions, and it is very great to hear that you guys have some new things coming up and different programs and expansions. So that's really good information. We have another poll coming up that Megan's going to queue up here shortly, related to land access and any other topics that you guys would like to see going forward, or more speakers or anybody like that going forward related to this topic. So there she is with the poll, and then we'll encourage you guys to take a quick break, and then come back around 10 o'clock. And during that break time, if you want to share in the chat anything that you have coming up related to grant opportunities or grants that your organization or group are planning to apply for. Sometimes this gives us some opportunities to share and collaborate on different projects. And so if you want to share that in the chat while we're on the break, and then come back around 10 o'clock for some statewide updates. So thank you very much. See you soon.